For this horse halter with lead project, I'm going to start in the middle of my work. So, and I want the work to go both directions. So I've tied it off in the center of where the work will be. I'm going to do a 4-strand braid, circular braid. I'm going to work on this side, and then I'll come back and do this side, and we'll piece everything together as we go. So what I want to do first, I'm going to be working oranges and blues. So I want to line up a short piece with a long piece. And I'm going to be working in bundles of 2, so that it's still going to be 4 strands, but each, or 4-strand braid, but each one will have 2 pieces of twine, or 4 right here at the overlap. Make sure you're getting everything tight here at the beginning. For this project, I'm also choosing to work without knots. So, and we're going to be adding twine, so the length is staggered, so that I'm not adding twine all at one spot. And I'm not worried about this looseness right here because we'll get it when we go back the other way. So for the 4-strand braid, the circular braid, they always go behind, and you're only really working with the 2 center pieces. So it goes behind the center 2 and then over, so that it is the centerpiece. So then again, behind the 2 center and over, so that it becomes the center. Don't worry about these short pieces, we'll just trim them up later. So just keep going with your work with the circular braid. We're going to do this for about 16 inches, and then we'll turn around and do the other side again for about 16 inches. So this will be the part that goes, this overlap will be the part that goes on the back of the horse's head behind the ears. Okay, so I've flipped it over. I got the beginning part of the other side done and flipped it over because I wanted to get this whole overlap. So this is about an 11 to 12 inch overlap because I want the work to go both ways. I just took, there's 16 strands in this overlap. There's 8 strands that we're working with on each side. So this overlap is just to allow me to work in both directions. So I want to try to find how things have fallen from the other side. So there should be 2 short pieces and 2 long pieces. with every grouping. So that looks about right. So I'll start with this one and go behind and over into the center. Then other side, behind and over. So with the more strands, it's easier to get everything twisted up. You might spend more time untwisting than actually braiding. That's okay. Right, so again, I'm going behind with the orange. Make sure you get all your pieces and over. And try to keep it as tight as you can. And blue. I always like to just hold on to my center pieces so that way I can reach behind and grab what I'm working for and pull it over. And when these short pieces start to end, just let them alone. We'll trim them up later and keep working with the long pieces. So we're going to do this circular braid for about 16 inches from our center point on each side. So about 16 inches from this center point on each side, and then we'll come back and separate the pieces out again. Okay, I have my center joining piece done, and for a total of 16 inches on both sides. So I've got this loop at the top, which is the joining of 16 strands, and then 8 strands, excuse me, down 16 inches on both sides. So now what I'm going to do is separate out these 8 strands into 2 4-strand circular braids. So with my orange on one side and blue on the other, I'm going to keep my colors together. So I'm going to go with the circular braid for the orange for about 9 inches. And I'm going to go with the circular braid for the blue for about 11 inches. So just keep going with your braid. Again, the orange is about 9 inches and the blue will be about 11 inches. To add twine to our length in this project, it's best to have the pieces staggered so that you're not adding the twine all at one time. But when you're ready to add a new strand, make sure the short piece that you're adding it to is the next one to be wrapped around. So when you wrap it, just place the new strand over the short one, wrap it around, undo your twist, and snug everything up. And then just keep with the braid to integrate it into the work. And so you'll have two pieces again for a while, and just keep braiding it in. Okay, so I have my orange braided to 9 inches and the blue is braided to 11 inches. So now what I'm going to do is join the orange back together. So I'll have 8 strands, still circular braid, and I'm going to braid it for about 8 inches. So I'm just going to link up pieces, link up strands. And continue with the circular braid. So one strand from the front should link up with the back so that they're together now. Like that. So I'm going to continue this for about 8 inches. Circular braid and adding twine as I go. So I've combined the orange and I'm just gonna leave this to rest for a while. We don't need that right now. We don't need to worry about it. What I'm gonna do right now is with my blue, I'm going to add a loop. We're gonna do this on both sides. And to add the loop, I'm going to place a stick right before the twist. So I'll place this stick and then twist it over. This will make a hole so I can push the strands through the loop when I come back. I'm going to do this twice. So again on this side, we'll do the exact same thing. Add a stick right before the twist, before I twist it over. And I will keep adding twine as I need to. So now just continue your circular braid for however big you want the loop. We're not going to make it too big. But I have ends of twine here, so we're going to have to be careful and add twine before we get to the loop. I'm going to add twine here. I know it's a bit longer than I would need to, but I want to add the twine before I have to worry about the loop. I'm going to add twine here as well. I just want to braid a little bit to get those pieces, the new pieces, worked in before I complete the loop. To make the loop, I'm going to again clamp my center pieces so that I know where I'm working. Actually, I always like to start with my right, so I will clamp it here knowing that the right piece is the next one that I want to braid. So now what I'm going to do is with these outside pieces, I'm going to remove a stick. Let's see, this one looks like it would go down there, and this one, we can do the top one. So you can see how it kind of created the hole in there. We can make it a little bigger. And then we are going to put these pieces of twine through the hole. So do whatever you can to kind of stretch it. And then you can fold these pieces, kind of crimp them, and do whatever you have to shove them through. And then we're going to do the same thing with this side. So these pieces are going to go through where this stick is. Again, just pull a bit. So you can see we have our loop. And so these were our center pieces. Okay, now I am just going to keep braiding this in my circular braid for about 18 inches. And we are going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We're going to get a loop in this other side of blue, right where we've ended here, or stopped. So a loop, and then braid for the circular braid for 18 inches on both sides. Okay, so I have my loops in both sides of the blue and have braided another 18 inches on both sides of the blue. Now what I'm going to do is cross the braids over and through the opposite hoop. I'm going to try to be careful for my clip because I'm going to keep braiding. And then again, the opposite side is going to go through the opposite loop so that this center piece, which will go over the muzzle, is going to be a double braid or two braids. And it's a bit adjustable in that it can be made bigger or smaller. Now I am going to take both ends of my blue and the ends of the orange, and I'm going to join them. So this will be the end of the halter part, and the rest of it, with all 16 strands of twine, will be the rope. So just keep going for as long as you want your lead and add twine as you need. My horse halter with lead is complete. So I have tied a knot at the end of my lead, which is about 7 feet long, and trimmed off the ends. I've went through the rest of the work and trimmed up any loose strands. And so this is the adjustable bit that goes over the muzzle. And that is the project. So have fun. Thank you.